Midbis, that's the last time I trust you with YouTube Downloader.
Hey, you plagiarist!
You must burn!
Consider me gone! Let's start part 7 off with some Ozzy Osbourne fodder, as well as the fastest poison type in existence, Crobat. Crobat, to me, is a perfect example of a Pokemon that gets to me for some odd reason. Now, let me just go out and say that I hate both Zubat and Golbat. The screeches are irritating, it's hard to escape from them sometimes, they appear everywhere in caves, and they give me fucking fury. Crobat, however, is an entirely different story. First off, it feels so rewarding when you finally get one. After all, it's a huge pain in the ass to get a Golbat to evolve. At least for me, anyway. Talk about impossible. How can a Pokemon reach max happiness when their 32-bit master shoves them into a ridiculously small Pokeball? Harsh love, I take it. Plain and simple, I love Crobat's design. Thanks to all that harsh love, Crobat has basically lost its ability to walk, and instead gained the ability to fly fast. Very fast. Crobat's speed can reach a maximum of 394, making him the absolute fastest poison type. But wait, there's more. With the base stat total of 535, Crobat has the highest base stat total of all poison types. In addition to this, Crobat can learn some kick-ass moves, such as Air Slash and even Cross Poison. Eat your heart out, Drapion. So the next time you see a Zubat, just remember that it will one day become one of the strongest poison types, and have even worse dental health than Feraligatr. Ah! Huh? What's this? Pikachu? But he was on your overrated list. What's gotten into you? Yes, I know that Pikachu was on my overrated list. But who gives a shit about that video? I sure as hell don't. Well, anyway, back to Pikachu. Being the mascot of the entire fucking series, Pikachu is by far the most famous of all our fellow pocket monsters. While I feel that another certain Pokemon should represent the entire franchise, I've always liked Pikachu regardless. And if you're a Pokemon fan, I know that Pikachu has made you smile at least once before. Don't you lie to me. In the games, Pikachu has very odd battle capabilities. Without held items, Pikachu is ridiculously weak. But if you're lucky enough to get the rare Light Ball, Pikachu's offensive stats are doubled. With max special attack and that Light Ball equipped, Pikachu's special attack can get as high as 398. Holy shit! Despite this, I never use Pikachu, except in Super Smash Bros. Why not? Because its defenses are terrible. Base 30 defense and special defense. So, if you're going to be using the Pikachu to battle competitively, make sure you max out its speed. Now, let's talk about the most famous Pikachu of them all, Ash's Pikachu. Ash's Pikachu is so damn cute and very, very amusing at some points, especially when he makes his famous what the fuck faces. While his cuteness is enough to make anyone go aww, Pikachu's over-the-top power in the anime is so ridiculous that it's just plain entertaining, albeit a little bit absurd, but whatever. While he falls flat in terms of defenses, I'd still pick Pikachu over Raichu any day.
Pikachu.
If you all thought Ninetales was an evil fox, oh boy, you haven't seen shit yet. At number 38, we have the appropriately titled Monster Fox Pokemon, Zoroark. Being the very first Pokemon shown for the 5th generation, Zoroark combines the evil and ominous nature of Ninetales and mixes that with the sheer badassness of Lucario to create a beastly fox that creates illusions to flip shit sideways, both physically and mentally. Now, all you Lucario fanboys are probably thinking, how dare you compare that emo fox to the almighty... Well, that's a good question. Why does everybody associate Zoroark with Lucario? Well, let's examine the reasons, shall we? Much like Lucario, Zoroark, along with Zorua, was the first Pokemon shown for the generation that they would later appear in. Also, both of them have had their own respective movies in which they started. Also, they both have similar stat distributions. You won't be seeing him later on the list, but right now I'll cover Lucario. Lucario is a mixed attacker and has mild defenses. His abilities are nowhere near as awesome or unique as Zoroark's, but if you use Beat Up on a justified Lucario, then holy shit man, you got yourself a sweeper. Next, let's summarize Zoroark's traits. Like Lucario, Zoroark is a mixed attacker. His stats are near identical, but Zoroark is faster and more offensive in exchange for having slightly lower defenses. In other words, Lucario is the brute and Zoroark is the sweeper. In combination to his sweeping skills, Zoroark's ability is just sheer awesomeness. His unique ability is Illusion. Illusion allows the Pokemon to come out disguised as the Pokemon in the very back of your party. This ability can confuse even the most professional players and often causes them to commit a fatal blunder. Bottom line, Zoroark is a swift, powerful, and sneaky son of a bitch. Just like a real fox should be. Congratulations Zoroark, your fine badassness would even impress Mr. McCloud. He may not fly an R-Wing, but this last son of a bitch is still damn awesome. Warping straight from cyberspace, we have the virtual depiction of mind-bending technology. Porygon Z. No, not that rough, unappealing version made by Microsoft Paint. Porygon Z. If I have to be blunt with all of you, then I'll say it. I fucking love this thing. To describe its design, I can only say this. Porygon Z is a cybernetic polygonal figure capable of warping through alien dimensions without effort. That is one of the coolest fucking concepts for any Pokemon ever. Equipped with superior software, Porygon Z takes the special attack of its pre-evolutions and turns it into the highest special attack of any normal type, even outclassing both Meowetta and Arceus. Thanks to the efforts of virtual experimentation, Porygon Z has probably the coolest moveset since Octillery. Some of these moves include Zap Cannon, Nasty Plot, Signal Beam, and Tri-Attack. Like I mentioned earlier, Porygon Z is a force to be reckoned with when concerning special attack. His special attack can reach a maximum of 405. Now, unless you're a Regice, a special attack from one of these beasts is enough to severely cripple you, and possibly your entire team. You know what I find disappointing? Porygon Z has never had an appearance in the anime. Why not? Well, guess what? We have the original Porygon to blame for that. Remember that infamous Porygon episode? You know, the one that caused hundreds of kids to have epileptic seizures? Yeah, apparently, ShowPro didn't want this incident to happen again with Porygon Z, so they never gave him an anime debut. Well, newsflash ShowPro, Pikachu was the one that caused that light explosion, not Porygon. Not trying to bag on Pikachu, but thanks to him, we may never see an episode of Porygon Z or 2 ever again. Oh well, they're still awesome in the games, that's good enough for me. Ooh, another Sinnoh evolution? Yes, yes, yes! I love these awesome evolutions. Thank you, Gen 4. The Sinnoh evolution in question is Magmortar, my favorite Sinnoh fire type by a long shot. If Magmar wasn't already a total beast, they had to give him a Magmarizer to turn him into a monster. Now, I bet some of you are kind of confused. Why Magmortar over Electivire? Don't you prefer electricity over fire? Normally, yes, I do. But Magmortar is a special case. First off, Magmortar is a specially oriented fighter. Electivire's stat arrangement seems somewhat unfitting and awkward, at least to me anyway. Both Magmortar and Electivire have the same base stat total, so you can't say that one of them is more powerful than the other. It comes down to taste at this point. So choose whoever you want, but I'll stick with Magmortar. Magmortar's special attack reaches a maximum of 383. We've been running into that number a lot recently, haven't we? Well, no complaints here. Another thing I love about Magmortar is his appearance. Just look at this dude. While some can argue that he has a derpy looking face, I can look past that. I mean, he has an arm cannon for fuck's sake. This impressive hand cannon allows him to blast fireballs over 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit at blinding speeds. You won't even have time to breathe before he roasts your ass. Man, what an awesome fire type. If there's one member of the Lake Guardian trio I would have to pick over the others, it would have to be Mesprit. Mesprit is somewhat unique among the other members of the Lake Guardians, as it actually leaves Lake Verity after being encountered by the player in the Lake Cavern. You know, this just makes Azelf and Uxie seem lazy. Rather than remaining dormant in its own lake cavern, Mesprit sheds some playful nature and frees from the player and roams all over the grasses of Sinnoh. That, combined with its cry, and that beautiful shade of pink on its head, leads me to label Mesprit as a cute Pokemon. Yeah, I think Mesprit is cute. Why you hate? Now, don't worry, I don't need any beer for this, as the cuteness level is under 9,000 this time. Out of the other two Lake Guardians, Mesprit is the most balanced of all of them. Aside from speed and HP, all of Mesprit's stats are 105 all across the board. So it's hard to complain about its stats, and I mean really hard. Every one of the Lake Guardians have their own specific trait. Azelf is the being of willpower, Uxie is the being of knowledge, and Mesprit is the being of emotion. While most would agree that knowledge and willpower are much more important, I kinda lean more towards Mesprit's side of the spectrum. I mean, just think about it for a second. Not everyone has willpower or determination. Not everyone has knowledge, but I repeat, every human being has emotion. And if you don't have emotions, I don't see you as a human. Just imagine if everybody was emotionless. We already live among idiots and undetermined minds, but if there were no emotions, we'd have nothing. We wouldn't be able to cry, be happy, or even love. If that happened, the world would utterly suck. And I wouldn't even be able to make this top 100. Mesprit, I say this on behalf of every human being on this planet, fiction or non-fiction. Thank you. Hell yeah, Galvantula owns. All of you probably expected this to appear somewhere on the list. After all, Galvantula is a combination of two of my favorite things, bugs and electricity. Because of this, Galvantula is my favorite Gen 5 electric type, even surpassing Zekrom. Fusing a Tarantula with Galvanism may sound kinda cruel, but that definitely made it a far cooler bug type than Ariados. Like most other electric types, Galvantula possesses some impressive speed. Galvantula's speed can reach a maximum of 346. It may pale in comparison to that of Scolipede, but it's still great. Galvantula and its pre-evolution are the only bug electric types so far, which is awesome. They're also the only Pokemon that can learn Electro Web, a move that lowers the speed of the opponent and hits all the Pokemon on the opposite side. That's pretty sweet. Now, some of you might find this kinda weird, but I personally find Galvantula to be kinda cute, even more so than Joltik. I don't know, maybe it's something about its eyes or its cry, I'm not sure. Although I do have second thoughts about its cuteness after looking at its Pokédex entry from White. Just a warning, if you're arachnophobic, then you probably shouldn't listen to this. Just a warning. It says, they employ an electrically charged web to trap their prey. While it is immobilized by shock, they leisurely consume their victim. Aww, how adorable is that? Oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with me? Another Sinnoh evolution. Yep, this time it's Togekiss. Now, Togekiss is an awesome Pokemon for a lengthy list of reasons. First off, its typing. Yeah, we've already seen a shit ton of normal flying types, but like Magmortar, Togekiss is a special case. How? Well, how about the fact that its typing is one of the most overused typings ever, yet it is a Pokemon actually useful in battle. Togekiss's base stat total is 554, the highest out of all normal flying types, with its special attack reaching a maximum of 372. That's pretty damn strong. I'm being dead serious here. I've seen a single Togekiss, which was probably Eevee trained, single-handedly take down Tower Tycoon Palmer in the rematch. And keep in mind, all of them were legendaries. One technique that makes Togekiss deadly is having a Togekiss with Serene Grace and teach it Air Slash. Air Slash is a move that has a 30% chance of making the opponent flinch. And with Serene Grace, the chances of making your opponent flinch is 60%. That's enough to piss off anyone, no matter how patient they are. Togekiss can also learn some other kick-ass moves, such as Extreme Speed and Aura Sphere. In addition to its strength, Togekiss is also quite cute. Now, is it just me, or does Togekiss seem like the perfect Pokemon to give hugs to? Yeah, I know that sounds pretty strange for someone like me, but I'm being serious here. Who wouldn't want to give Togekiss a hug? Sure, some of you might not concur with me when I say Togekiss looks like the perfect hug giver, but I'm sure it's much better than a fucking Goron hug. Come on, don't be a depressed mope. Hug a Togekiss. Oh god, it's happening again. Nidus! Toss me the cute
No! You must deal with it, bitch!
Oh god, it's Hydreigon. Now we're all fucked. Being a brutally violent dragon with 3 heads, Hydreigon is not only my favorite Gen 5 dragon type, but he's also my favorite Gen 5 dark type. And that's saying quite a bit, considering both types were treated ridiculously well in Gen 5. With the base stat total of 600, Hydreigon is one of the infamous pseudo-legendaries. Out of all the pseudo-legendaries, Hydreigon is my favorite by far. Why? For a plethora of reasons. First off, Hydreigon probably has the most mythological emphasis of any Pokemon. It incorporates elements from both the Hydra of Greek mythology and Yamata no Orochi, which are both mythological reptiles possessing multiple heads and wings. Although it has 5 fewer heads than that of Orochi, it's still very similar. Hydreigon is a very odd case among the other pseudo-legendaries. First off, Hydreigon is the only pseudo-legendary Pokemon to not have attack as its highest stat. Instead, its strongest stat is Special Attack, which can reach a maximum of 383. Yep, that number again. Must be a magic number of some sort. Hydreigon also has a huge type arsenal. Hydreigon can learn moves belonging to 16 of the 17 types. The only type of move it can't learn is Grass. Oh well. Being that Hydreigon has the unique typing of Dark and Dragon, it comes as no surprise that Hydreigon is a ridiculously violent Pokemon. With its vicious nature, Hydreigon uses all 3 of its heads to consume and destroy everything in its path. God damn! Don't ever let your poor little Pikachu fight this thing, unless you want the poor little thing to get brutally mangled. Jesus! Hydreigon is awesome. Its type is unique, the stats are awesome, and its type coverage is ridiculous, making it more than worthy of being my favorite pseudo-legendary. You'd think that there could never be a more menacing dragon type than this. Well, guess again. Sweet Jesus, this Pokemon is simply kick fucking Being the 3rd and final member of the Creation Trio, Giratina is arguably the most creative Pokemon I've ever seen. All of you nostalgia fanboys underestimate Gen 4 so damn much. Lacking originality, huh? Well, how about this? Which of these sounds more creative? A 5-foot-tall, fire-breathing lizard that can fly, yes, a lizard, not a dragon, or a 22-foot-long basilisk-like dragon with ectoplasmic tentacles attached to its vertebrae, capable of flying, changing forms, and manipulating all antimatter. If you said Charizard, you are clearly blinded by nostalgia. In addition to its huge amount of creativity, Giratina is also one of the most unique legendaries ever. For a start, Giratina is currently the only Dragon-type legendary that has a form difference. Now, this will probably change in Black and White too, but for now, it's unique. Speaking of that, no other Pokemon has the same typing as Giratina either. Being a Ghost Dragon type, Giratina makes full use of its ectoplasmic abilities and uses it to create strange teleportation rifts in both space and time, as well as the surface world we call Earth. With the power of the Grisius Orb, Giratina is able to alter both his power and appearance. He has 2 forms, both of them being awesome beyond belief. There's his altered form, a more defensive state in which he can hold his own against numerous types. Then, there's his origin form, the master of the distortion form. Origin form Giratina is more offensive than the altered form, but it's a little more vulnerable due to lower defenses. Giratina has the highest HP out of all legendary Pokemon, the total being 504. Now, don't go thinking that this is all he has. Oh no. Unlike some other high HP Pokemon, Giratina is very highly balanced. It differs between forms, but Giratina is superb in both defense and offense. Giratina also has one of the most kick-ass signature moves ever, Shadow Force. Shadow Force causes the user to vanish instantly, and then reappear the next turn to cause massive damage. And the best part? Shadow Force can even penetrate both Protect and Detect. So if you're not in the air, underground, or underwater, Shadow Force is sure to cripple any Pokemon that is not normal type. All these awesome factors make Giratina my second favorite legendary dragon. Seriously, he's the definition of holy shit.